Hi there, welcome to the Schwoven's Nest. My name is Sandra. Thanks for joining me today. This project is probably my favorite of this whole video. I found these two little bud vases at the thrift store, and they have sort of like that concrete look at the bottom and that gold color on the top, which is all crackly. And I love the texture, but I'm not fond of the color. So I am taking my mushroom DIY chalk paint. This is just a latex paint. It's kind of a cross between a gray and a beige. I like to call it grayish. And I'm just going to go ahead and just do the bottom part of both of the vases. This is not really going to change the color too much, but it will freshen them up. For the top portion, I'm using Chiffon Cream by Rust-Oleum, and it is a chalk paint. It's sort of just an off-white color, sort of creamy. These will need a couple of coats because this base is so shiny that the paint had a little bit of a hard time sticking to it. I probably should have sprayed the whole thing with my matte clear finish first because that always helps me get the paint to stick a lot better on these shiny surfaces. So next time I'll definitely be doing that. I found these beautiful silicone stamps for $1.89 at a local dollar store. And what I'm doing here is pulling that first sprig off of the backing. Now, with the second one, I left it on the backing and I just cut it out. So that's what I would recommend to do. Just cut out the stamps and then you still have them on that really firm backing. But for this one, I put it on a little piece of plastic and that seemed to work as well. I'm going to be using a black ink pad and it's also from Forever in Time. I'm going to do a test first on my paper to make sure that it's the design I want and that I have enough ink. So I'm just gently tapping my ink pad right on top of the stamp and then I'll flip it over and put it on the paper, making sure that I don't wiggle it and that it just goes down really nice and smooth. This turned out so pretty. I was really impressed with the details on this stamp. Now that I like it on the paper, I'm going to go ahead and re-ink it and then get it ready to put on the vase. I decided to put the stem portion down on the gray part of the paint, and then the flower portion would be on the top part of the paint. This turned out even better than I could imagine on this little bud vase, and it is so pretty. Look at all those beautiful details. For the second stamp, I decided to leave it on the plastic backing because it's a nice firm backing, and this is going to help me to just position it where I need it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up this stamp as best as I can, making sure that I get all of the areas covered evenly. I'm going to do the same with this one, putting the stem on the gray portion and then the flower at the top. Make sure that you're holding it down with one hand and pressing down with the other hand so it doesn't move and shift its position. I am so pleased with how these turned out. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that red button. It's totally free. And if you like what you've seen so far, you're going to want to stick around a while. I've had a few rolling pins in my stash that have been waiting for a makeover. I had already painted this one white and distressed it, and I've decided to put this row of lavender blooms right across the front of it. I'm not going to be using these rolling pins, of course, they're just going to be for display. I went ahead and printed this out on tissue paper. I will have the link for the printable down in my description box. It will be available on my website. And if you're not sure how to do tissue paper printing, my last video was a tutorial on that, so I will also have that linked down in my description box. Now, the only thing that I'm going to need to do is apply some Mod Podge to the rolling pin itself, and then very gently just go ahead and put the tissue paper right on top. It's the same as if you would be putting a napkin on or some decoupage paper. It's basically decoupaging your tissue paper onto your project. Now that I've got all the Mod Podge on that I need, I'm going to go ahead and place it as straight as possible onto the rolling pin. Just using my hands, I'm going to smooth it out very gently, being careful not to push too hard because I don't want to tear the paper. Then I'll be adding another layer of Mod Podge to the top, working out any of the bubbles or wrinkles just using my brush. This rolling pin also needs an update, so I'm just going to give it one coat of black chalk paint. And I know you're probably thinking black, oh my gosh, but just wait. I think it's going to be good at the end. So I'm just going to be giving it one coat because that's all I'm going to need to cover up the natural wood. While I was waiting for the paint to dry, I went to my Cricut Joy and I designed this little decal, and I will have this available as a free printable down in my description box. I'm going to go ahead and just press this on and then pull off the transfer tape. Now, when I pulled off the transfer tape, even though I fuzzed it so it would be less sticky, I still removed some of the paint because I hadn't sealed the black paint. So if you don't want to have any of this happen to you, it's always a good idea to either seal your project with some Mod Podge or spray it with a matte clear finish. Spraying is usually what I do because it's faster, but I loved the technique or the look of this, so I decided to take my transfer tape and do that all over the rolling pin. I just laid the transfer tape back down, rubbed it, and then pulled it off. If I wanted to have a little bit more, I just used my fingernail and just kind of rubbed it in a couple of spots here and there on the transfer tape and then pulled it off. So you'll see me do something like that here in just a second, where I'm just using my thumb right there. You see the big chunk just came off there, and I really loved this look. So this is something I'm going to keep in mind for future distressing. I know I've seen other people use that clear packing tape to distress, so now I know what they're talking about. I've never tried that, but I guess it would be the same type of technique. As an extra accent, I cut a little piece of this gingham ribbon that's black and white, and I'm going to hot glue the ribbon together, but I don't want to hot glue it to the rolling pin. So I'm making it just a little bit looser, and then I'll just try my best to hot glue the ribbon to itself and not to the rolling pin. That way I can remove it whenever I want to, and it's not going to wreck any of the paint underneath it. In one of my previous videos, I promised that I would show how to do a two-finger bow. Now, this bow turns out with double loops on each side and is so easy once you get the hang of it. The first thing you're going to do is loop the ribbon around your two fingers, holding them apart as you see me doing here. With my thumb, I'm going to hang on to the tail. Then I wrap the ribbon around my fingers 2 times, and each time I'm going to hang onto it with my thumb. Once I'm at this point, I can go ahead and cut the length of ribbon. I'm going to leave about 8 inches in length so I have the rest to work with. Now it's going to go down in between my two fingers. It's going to come back around, and then I'm going to pull up the same loop, pull my end through, and then tighten it up. And when you wiggle it back and forth, you've got a perfect little bow. Check this out. Double bow on each side, and it is absolutely perfect. I did learn this from someone else on YouTube, and I will give them credit down in my description box. But this is the easiest way that I have found to make a bow, and you can do this with larger ribbon too. It just doesn't have to be the small stuff. Now I'm just going to dovetail both of the ends, and then I'll glue it right in the middle of the ribbon that's on top of the rolling pin. If you want a video just on how to make a two-fingered bow, let me know down in the comment box. If I get enough people requesting it, then I'll do one for you. Here's a look at my collection of rolling pins, including this really large one that I just painted the handles. This project is kind of thrift store, but actually dollar store. So I picked up this Apothecary box at the thrift store for $2, and it had the label on the back of it that it came from Dollarama, where they charge $4. So I did get a better deal on it. And it's just so funny that sometimes they just keep the regular prices on from the other stores in the thrift stores. Anyway, let's get to it. So I'm going to just take these handles off because I'm going to create still an apothecary box out of this, but I wanted it to have 4 drawers instead of just the 2 larger ones. I flipped the drawers around so the parts with the holes would be on the inside of the drawer and that I would have a nice clean front to work with. I'm just marking off the center point of the drawers, and now I'm going to use one of these carving tools from the Dollar Tree. These are a little pack of 4 that you can get. Here you can see that I'm just using a ruler and I'm scoring it. You could also just use a utility knife for this, but I bought this little wooden carving set, so I thought I would give it a try. I'm just using the straight edge, but I am kind of using my knife here on a bit of an angle, and that's going to help me to cut out a little bit better of a groove. I decided to use my Varathane Dark Walnut Stain. It is my favorite color. I don't pull it out very often because it's a lot of work. You have to rub it on. If you do it with a brush, it just gets really messy, and I always have to use gloves, and then my hands get all hot and sweaty. But anyhow, I love how it turned out, so it was worth the work. I also made sure to go into that groove really well and make it nice and dark, as you can see there. I stained the drawers completely inside and out, but for the little cabinet, I just stained it part way on the inside because you really won't see that anyway. Here's what the drawers look like. I think they turned out great. They look like 4 instead of 2. I'm going to take 4 of these little cubes and stain those as well. Now I'm going to add the labels to the little boxes. And these were the little ones that came off of the frames from the Dollar Tree. So whenever I see the frames, I love using those little wood frames too, but I buy them just for these. So it would be then about 50 cents a piece. I'm going to put 4 on the drawers. I wanted my little apothecary box to have some height to it, so I am going to be gluing on these little feet, which are the square cubes, onto the bottom. Now, they did pop off because hot glue doesn't stick to stain because it needs to be raw wood to raw wood. So afterwards, I did end up popping these off because it came off really easy and adding some wood glue instead to give them a permanent hold. I wanted to add something extra to this little box, so I'm taking some Mod Podge and covering this handle just to seal it in and give the paint a little bit something easier to grip on instead of all of this shiny surface. Once the Mod Podge was dry, I'm taking this little fan brush that I cut down to make it nice and stiff, and I'm just using my gel stain and dragging it across the white ceramic part of this handle to make it look like wood grain. This is a technique that I've done lots of times on my channel, and I really love the way it looks. Once that was dry, I took my Dollar Tree stencil brush and some burnt umber paint and just pounced it on the gold part. I wanted a little bit of that gold to peek through, but not a lot of it. I wanted to dull it down quite a bit. Once that was dry, I did the same thing with some black, just using the stencil brush to give it more of a metal and wood look, a little bit more industrial. I also still wanted some of the brown to peek through, and once this was dry, I gave the whole thing a coat of Mod Podge again. I used hot glue again for the handle, but I ended up removing it afterwards as well and using some of my permanent wood glue to make sure it stayed in place. The last detail on this was just to cut a few strips of this cardstock and slide it in where the labels would go on my little label holders. I think it just added a little bit more softness and texture to this project, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. You'll have to let me know if you like it too. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. That really helps me get noticed more on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Bye for now.